President Obama said these words.
As long as we've got to fight to make sure women have access to quality, affordable health care, and as long as we've got to fight to protect a woman's right to make her own choices about her own health, I want you to know that you've also got a president who's going to be right there with you, fighting every step of the way.
President Obama, you are a part of a cover-up of crimes. You are a disgusting president. A disgusting president. Friends, President Obama fought in Illinois to keep from requiring baby killers to save the baby's life. The very thing that's going on right now in Philadelphia with Gosnell being tried for killing babies after they were born. Obama says, I've got your back, Planned Parenthood. And Obama has, or rather Planned Parenthood has the back of child prostitution rings. That's what we are dealing with. Child prostitution rings and pedophiles who are sexually abusing 13 and 14-year-old girls. Our mission, at least the front-end mission, is to defund Planned Parenthood. And part of the reason that we have to do shows like this and show this is to create the crisis of conscience in the voter, in the taxpayer, so that it becomes important to them. How dare you? I want you to actually be angry. How dare you spend our money on this organization who is abusing young women, covering up crimes against children, and helping the sex slave industry? There's such a thing as righteous anger. I pray for the grace of God to come upon you, a wave of righteous anger to come over you, so that you fight against this evil and fight for life and liberty and wholeness for these women. God bless you. Welcome back to the program, friend. Let's go back to the seat of the Confederacy, the Old Dominion, Richmond, Virginia. Our actor goes in and says this.
We're involved in sex work.
Okay.
So there's some other girls that we kind of manage that they kind of need help too.
Okay.
Now the more complicated part of it though is some of the girls, they're around like 14, 15, and some of the girls are from like out of state, out of country.
All right. He's getting better at this. The clips are faster. I'm in the sex trade. Now, again, explaining that he's got underage girls that he's managing. There we have it again. 14, 15 years old, from out of state and out of country. By the way, that's code language. Out of state means they're runaways. Do you realize how many young girls grace the milk cartons in our stores as missing, who are alive? They're just not well. They're runaways who people involved in sex slavery got them at a bus stop and said, hey, we'll take care of you, got them involved, and now they're trapped. Some of them will die, some of them may escape, but they will be marred for the rest of their lives. Planned Parenthood is committed to keeping their vile circumstances going. All right, play the next clip, please.
Some of them don't have like their residency yet or something like that. But like, how do you guys have teen service or stuff like that?
I mean, we can give them the same information. The only thing that requires a legal guardian is an abortion.
Okay.
I mean, you can get birth control testing, like anything without a parent. The only thing that requires over 18, if they're a minor, is an abortion. But there's also ways like judicial bypasses we can get around that if you guys ever need it.
All right, they're illegals, they're sex slaves, we need birth control. We'll do it all for you. And by the way, note that Planned Parenthood repeatedly, in some of the clips we haven't shown you, says to the pimp, we've got free condoms. If you need to boost your profit margins, don't go to the local convenience store to buy your condoms. get them to you for free. Oh, and they also say, we'll help you get around the abortion laws. Play that next clip, Lane.
Okay, what if one of the 15-year-olds wants the abortion? How would you set up the other thing?
Well, I mean, the judicial bypass, she has to come in for what we call a pre-op visit first. It's an ultrasound, blood work, paperwork to fill out. At that time, she'll start the judicial bypass process. And then we do some counseling with them as well.
Okay.
And then, like I said, that separate organization will call them on whatever number they give us and do the process. And then they come back for the actual abortion itself at a later date.
So you see here, we've got the rubber stamp. Well, the only thing that we need to have a parent involved in is if they're underage and they're going to get abortion. If they're an underage sex slave, no problem. If they're underage and they need an abortion, well, we can get around that with the judicial bypass, and we'll help you fill out the paperwork. And then, with her last little quip, play it right up to the laugh.
So pretty much everything. We have condoms here for free. So we kind of got it all.
There you have it. We've kind of got it all. We're your one-stop shop. If you've got a prostitution ring full of underage girls, including runaways and sexual slaves from other countries, we will keep you in business. We're your one-stop shop. Don't worry. Pimps and slave traders, Planned Parenthood, and President Obama, they've got your back. I'll be right back.
He's 22.
Yeah.
You know what? I would not bring him in.
Just don't bring him in at all?
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Forget that you told me that.
Okay.
Do you want to get America out of the hands of wicked and unjust men and women who are destroying the republic before our eyes, and put leadership back into the hands of righteous men and women so that we don't die as a nation? Well, you're talking about social revolution, and there are rules in social revolution. We can look at the victorious social revolutions of the past, such as the end of slavery, the end of child labor, women's voting rights, the end of segregation, and so much more, and learn from their victories. Look at their actions, their images, their rhetoric, their sacrifices, and their final fruit. We will send you this series that originally cost $129, 7 books for students, 1 teacher's guide, if you'll give a gift of any size and just pay for shipping and handling. Take advantage of it today. Welcome back, friend. And by the way, you probably know by now that 2 more young men have been arrested up in the Boston area who were accessories after the fact for the Boston bombers. I guess they went into his room, his dorm room, and got together some of the explosives, his laptop, and put it into a dumpster, and the authorities, after an extensive search, found it. All right? They've been arrested for being accessories after the fact, for trying to help cover up evidence of a crime. I ask you, how is this any different? How is this any different? I'll tell you how it's different. And excuse my language, but most Americans, or a lot of Americans, certainly the people at Planned Parenthood, don't give a damn about poor little foreign girls who are in a sex slave prostitution ring. They don't care. They don't care. Now listen to this. Play the next tape, Lane.
What if they don't? What if they're not a resident? What if they're not a resident? They don't
That's
have
fine. Like for our benefit program, we do require that they bring in some documents, but if they don't have it, we just ask that they bring whatever they can.
Just whatever they have.
Like a photo ID or something? Yeah, we ask them to bring a photo ID, proof of address, proof of income, and
Proof of
that's it,
income?
and birth certificate.
They don't have like a 9
yeah,
to 5
they're not,
job.
yeah, if they're not working, or if they even like work in the after-school program, that's considered unemployed. So they can have like a family member or
Just
friend
say unemployed.
or one of you guys.
Yeah, they're
Like,
You can find somebody. You
like
can
in a
find
letter.
somebody.
You wouldn't need to
saying
know
that
if they work at night and do whatever. If you have to do this.
None of that. We don't need to know anything. Everything's totally confidential. Just don't let you even like to let them state.
Good.
My name is so and so, and I support this, whatever. And just put like contact information. They don't even call you. They just ask for contact information, but no one calls you, and just sign and date it.
All right, so he has said to them, I'm in the sex trade. They're illegal immigrants, okay? Basically, he says to them, these are illegal immigrants. She says to them, lie. Say that they're in an after-school program. Say that they don't have any insurance. And as you'll see later on in another clip, and actually I'll play it in this segment, another employee at the same Planned Parenthood abortion mill says that doesn't matter that they're illegals, we'll fill out some paperwork and we'll have the taxpayers pay for their dead baby. Lane, play the clip. Here's what happened. They got all this information. They were told to lie by the first heavyset woman. All right, just lie, fill out the paperwork. Heaven help us. Sign as a guardian. And then they meet. On the way out, they meet probably a nurse practitioner. Here's the conversation.
Do we even sign off as a guardian? Is that possible?
If you were writing their support letter, yeah, you could say that you take care of them, you support them. But nothing here, like they're not our patients. We don't ask for a guardian signature. Everything is the patient. Like a 13-year-old could come in and get the services she needed by herself.
All right. We'll get insurance. We'll pay for the baby to be murdered. It's okay that they're underage. It's okay that they're in a sex traffic ring. The woman has no concern for these girls. None. And when President Obama says that Planned Parenthood has not failed women trust you, do you understand? I'm going to tell you a story. This is sad and it's tragic. And again, if you have small children in the room, I suggest you get them out. I have a friend from many years ago, my pro-life work in Binghamton. These images are disturbing, so hold steady. She went to a Planned Parenthood, found out she was pregnant, was pressured into having her baby killed, encouraged by the Planned Parenthood people. She killed her baby the day before her birthday. And the next day, when she was sitting on the toilet, she was going urine, and her baby's arm fell out into the toilet. She was 11, 12 weeks pregnant. And her arm, the baby's arm, fell into the toilet. She went into shock. She started singing, "Happy birthday to me, happy birthday to me." She has had to live her whole life with the memory that on her birthday, the arm of her murdered child that was murdered at the Planned Parenthood in Syracuse, New York, came out of her. Friends, this is the final episode on this expose of Planned Parenthood, but it's not the final word. The blood of these babies and the cries and the moans of anguish from these 14 and 15-year-old girls that are sexual slaves in New York, in Miami, in Chicago, in countries, or rather in cities all across this country. The blood of these babies cries out to God, and God hears it. And there is a dreadful reckoning coming. When we come back from this break, we'll go to one more city, Richmond, Virginia, and then discuss what we need to do. And by the way, the clip you're about to see and hear is Planned Parenthood saying that they will cover for a sexual predator who is having sex with a 13-year-old. Don't go away.
You can come in. You don't need your parents' permission.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, it's just my boyfriend said that he would pay for everything. Would that be all right? Like, it's just we don't want a whole bunch of people to know about us. Would he have to sign anything?
Yeah, but I just don't talk about his age.
Do you want to have knowledge, wisdom, discernment, If so, you have to read good books on theology, history, books that look at the lives of great men and women. So to help you to become a more effective Christian, a better witness for truth, somebody who can engage in productive conversation that exhorts and edifies those that you speak with, we're going to do something crazy. We're offering you these 7 books for a gift of any size. You just pay for the shipping and handling, and then give whatever gift that you can, and we will send them to you. But just to make it a little bit more crazy, I will send you a second copy of my 3 books, autographed. You can give them as a gift to your pastor or to a family member and help extend truth and justice in the world. This is while supplies last.
The following program contains shocking expressions of free speech. If you suffer from being tongue-tied, ankylosing, Randall might not be right for you. Check with your romper room teacher.
Old Obama had a pimp, E-I-E-I-O. And I don't know anything that rhymes with pimp, E-I-E-I-O. Except for chimp, where the What town does a chimp and a pimp make? I know where you can find out.
You can find out at Planned Parenthood, because Planned Parenthood is in business to help pimps stay in business. If you're in the sex trade, have no fear. Obama and Planned Parenthood are here.
Standing for truth in the 4 corners of America. Fighting for justice on the frontiers of the culture wars. And turning resistance into an art form. The only TV host arrested more times than Mahatma Gandhi, Randall Terry.
Hey friends, I want you to look at this image. I could be wrong, and I'm not trying to judge anybody, but I'm going to bet 10-to-1 odds that on the day of judgment, that image is used as evidence in maybe certain eternal trials. I don't know. But if we caught it on camera, so did the Almighty. I've got to take a break, but we're going to finish up with our 5-part series on Planned Parenthood, sex trafficking, Planned Parenthood and Obama together, failing women, and helping sustain the illegal underage prostitution rings that are marring this country and destroying young women's lives. Comic relief, Randall, please. Somebody, can we have a word of wisdom? Word of wisdom, please. Now, faster, faster. Many people don't know the full title of Charles Darwin's book. Let me think about it. I can't even remember it. It's On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection, or the Preservation of Favored Races in the Struggle for Life. You don't have to be a leading scientist like me to know that that is racist, that Chuck Darwin was a racist, that he was Hitler's hero. Now, I think the scientific thing to do is to just read the original Origin of Species. I'm talking about Genesis, people. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this show. We are in our 5th and final segment on an expose of Planned Parenthood. And frankly, it's just the tip of the iceberg. We have looked at the number of children that they have murdered. And by the way, again, if you have small children in the room for this episode, I would suggest that you say to them that they need to go somewhere else, and that if you can't do that, then record it and watch it later. Or if you want to watch it online, you can see us at voiceofresistance.com. And again, I want to thank the Walk TV, the network that carries us, and our affiliates from coast to coast who fearlessly carry this show. Not just fearlessly, but with a love of God, with a love of truth, with a love of life, with a love of liberty and of justice. Okay? Because networks like ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, they are involved in the cover-up. If somebody knows that a crime is happening, if a journalist, if a media outlet knows that a crime is happening, and they don't report on it deliberately, they are a part of the cover-up. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you were in a camera crew in Auschwitz or Dachau or any of the other concentration camps that were the curse of the earth during World War II, if you were a news journalist with a camera crew and you got footage or had the ability to get footage of what was happening in those concentration camps and you did not show it, you're part of the crime. You're part of the cover-up. Well, not you. I mean, I shouldn't be. Why are you using that finger to point at your viewer? Bat finger, bat finger. Sorry. Okay. Wanted to make the point. Now, thanks again to Lila Rose and to Mark Crutcher, who have done such a great job exposing Planned Parenthood, their crimes against women, their covering up for pedophiles, helping pimps to sustain illegal prostitution rings involving minors, okay? They did a great job. President Obama has basically served us up this expose because he became the first sitting president to speak at a Planned Parenthood conference. And he said these words, which will be probably, I think, played on the Day of Judgment. Listen to these words again.
Because the women you serve know you and they trust you. And the reason for that is that you haven't let them down before.
Yes, except it wasn't the girls that have, really benefited, or it's not the girls that they know and trust and that they've never let down. It's the pimps. It's the criminal syndicates that are selling these young girls. It's a slave trade. It's a sexual slave trade. All right, let's go to Bronx. What you're about to see is footage, secret hidden camera taken when the actor, and this guy is a great actor, and his hooker, prostitute friend, who's also an actress, when they go into this abortion mill in the Bronx. Listen to what they say and listen to what she says. And you can read the transcript because it's a little hard to hear.
We're involved in sex work. So we have some other girls that we manage and work with that they're going to need testing as well. Okay. So do you guys see them? Or?
Yeah, we see
Teen services.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we see people as young as 13 years old.
All right, did you hear what she said? We get girls in here as young as 13. He tells her he's involved in the sex trade. He's got girls that are 14 and 15 years old. And she, in effect, says, no problem. We have girls in here that are 13 years old. It's a federal crime. And in most states, it's a state crime. She is required by law to contact the authorities and say, we have reason to believe that there are young girls, ages 14 and 15, that are trapped in a prostitution ring. She's required by law to do so. And instead, she says, no problem. When we come back, I'm going to play more of that secret film from the Bronx, and then we're going to go to Richmond, Virginia. You think it's just, oh, it's horrible, New York. No. How about the seat of the Old South? I'll be right back.
So what I'm saying is, if we're not going to ask if you don't tell us.
Okay.
So, he can definitely bring you in, and there's no problem with that at all. Just probably I'd have to just suggest that you don't bring up the age thing to us.
Every day in America, over 3,500 babies are torn apart by abortion. Shouldn't all babies, like this living, unborn child, have the right to life? Baby killing will only end when Americans see the truth of what abortion does to innocent children. You can help end this Holocaust by showing the truth of abortion in your area with a Face the Truth tour. Go to FaceTheTruthAmerica.com to set up a Face the Truth tour in your area. The babies and their mothers will be eternally grateful. In the 1980s, banks introduced designer checks. When my buddy George Johnson inquired at the bank, they had nothing for pro-lifers. So the Johnsons created beautiful pro-life bank checks showing babies with a strong pro-life message. You can speak out for life with every check you write, whether personal or business checks. Be a voice for babies with these pro-life checks. Go to prolifecheckguy.com to see more. That's prolifecheckguy.com.